Okay. Looks like we're getting here. Hello, hello, everybody. I am sick. I don't know if everybody got to see the Instagram post and stuff that I posted yesterday. I had pre-scheduled this for today, obviously. And I just decided, you know what? It's easier to live stream and like we'll just sort of chill and read and stuff like that than trying to edit a video. So yes, thank you for people showing up. Yes, thank you. Happy birthday to me. It was yesterday. That's when I found out I had the flu. But thank you everybody so much. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday afternoon. It just like hit instantly and I was like, I don't feel good. Um, yeah, I hope so too. Thank you. Um, for the birthday wishes, everybody too. I'm feeling much better today. I have Tamiflu and Sudafed and Mucinex and ibuprofen and everything like that. And I'm the only one, crossing my fingers for that, in the family. Everybody else seems perfectly fine. So it's just me. And I guess this is the like, hey, remember to get your flu shots because it's the 1 year I forgot to get mine. Made sure everybody else did basically. But I forgot me. So yeah, don't know exactly where I got it, but I'm feeling better today than I was Tuesday. I think Tuesday was probably the worst. Yesterday was still not so great. Um, Today I have more of like the cough of like trying to cough stuff. But I don't feel as much of like all the aches and pains and everything. Yes, I mean, I definitely had made sure that they got their flu vaccines and everything. It was just I mean, and the doctor even said because like I don't necessarily go out too much that it was very possible that one of them brought it home, but they just didn't have any symptoms because of the fact that they had the vaccine. So I'm still just like just in case. No fevers for anybody. Everybody's been perfectly fine so far. So, knock on wood. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, excuse me. Thank you so much. So yeah, I have also not read anything in a couple days because whenever I'm sick, I always feel a little bit more like my brain doesn't want to work for reading. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to read today. We're going to jump into something. Um, and I think I might do an ebook. I'm still needing to read Cosplay and Confrontation, which is this here, which was picked during my TBR. It was a poll pick from everybody voting. And it's only like 200 and something pages. So I think I might try that one. Otherwise, I am also in the middle of an audiobook, which is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. That was one of my 12 books, 12 friends that somebody picked for me. And so I've been listening to that on the drive, like to and from taking Presley to school and stuff. And so I'm about 50% of the way through that one. So if I can't focus and read physically or like actually read with my eyes, I might end up switching to my audiobook. But I do want to try getting into a new book because I finished my physical read like right before I got sick. So that's my plan, at least. If anybody else has plans of what you're specifically going to be trying to either read or do today. I know some people like to edit and do different things like that while we just sort of hang out. I just felt like this was a much easier thing for my brain to focus on versus trying to edit a video. I filmed a video Tuesday morning before I actually felt sick. And the thing is, I should have known I was going to get sick because I started sounding really bad near the end of that video. So that's going to go up either this weekend or next week. And I'm just, you can tell I was getting sick in that video. And I didn't even like think about it until I actually got sick that afternoon. And I was like, I sounded horrible near the end of that one. Let's see, in the middle of Ink Blood Sister Scribe, trying to get some writing done. Okay, I can see that. Reward yourself with reading. I don't really write, but I've done that with like other things like chores and stuff. Like if I do this, then I can sit and read for a little bit. So I completely understand that. Larry 3D. I've never heard of that one. Ebook listening to the first Crescent City. Also working. Yeah, I think you were working before too, so have fun multitasking. Yeah, I think that's sounds pretty good. Yeah, I know some people, again, because of the time that I'm currently doing the reading sprints and stuff. I mean, both of my kids are in school today. The doctor said as long as nobody else has symptoms, nobody else is like acting weird, like they have no fever, they're like crazy hyper. She's like, send them, everybody, they'll be fine. Um, so I'm at least being able to be by myself right now. So that's good. Ooh, audibly, this must be the place by Maggie O'Farrell and physically a book of essays, dialogues on race. I don't think I've heard of either of those. I always end up having to add books to my TBR after these kind of things. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if that's something that you're wanting to prioritize, that is so cool. You'll have to let us know once you get closer to that publishing part, because I will be very curious to see what you've done. Okay, I also have not had breakfast yet, and I have meds that I have to take that need food. So I'm going to get us started with some reading sprints or working sprints. And I will probably shut the camera down so I can eat off screen, and then we will come back after that. So let's do like a 45-minute one. I think that sounds like it should be pretty good. Now I have to do math. I told you my brain does not want to work when I'm sick. So we're just gonna say 8. I'm pretty sure. We're just gonna say it's until 23. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's what we're gonna do for right now because like my brain does not want to work with this. Okay, I'm gonna eat. You guys read, work, whatever you want to do right now. I'm gonna also try and start cosplaying Confrontation, and when we come back, we'll see how that went. Okay. We are back. Let me know how your reading or work or writing went. Um, looks like we had some stuff put in here during that time. So you had 18 minutes left in a dictation, 38 the book. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the happy birthday wishes. Finish the dictation. Now onto the book. Yes. Nice. Hello, hello. Hi. Yeah, we're starting off sprints again this year. I think I missed the last month or two of 2023 just with kids getting sick. I feel like every single time I get sick, it's because the kids brought something home from school. And right now it's just me. So, like, crossing my fingers, it stays just me. Um, but so I try to do at least one sprint a month. And now that I have my Patreon and stuff too, I'm going to be trying to do some extra ones on there. Um, but I'm glad that everybody is here today this morning. Wasn't entirely too sure I was going to do this because I got sick, but it was way easier than trying to wrap my head around editing. So we're just going to be chilling and reading for a while until it's time to go get the boy from school. Finishing off a spindle splintered and then starting Babel. That's okay. We're going to be here for at least another hour or so. So you definitely have some time to read. 43% in. Okay, that's pretty good. You got some good reading in. And then, yes, definitely make sure that you're doing your work too. Okay, 600 words. That's pretty good. Finish the next chapter and move on to reading. That sounds really good. That's a good goal. Read some essays and watched some YouTube videos. That's also very nice. Starting Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. That's the most recent one, right? Yeah, I think I've read the first two and I have this one, but I haven't read that one yet. So I'll be curious to see how that goes for you as well because I loved Delilah Green. Wasn't Ashford Parker wasn't my favorite. I think it was just the whole like the vibes of them are very very different and so I loved one. The other one was pretty good but like not my thing. Um so I have not started Iris Kelly yet. Yeah, I think it's the last one. Um, but I definitely want to try this because like the tropes and stuff that it mentions, I feel like I'll like better than Ashford Parker. I think Ashford Parker was just more about like the whole like finding your identity, and her as a character also just like wasn't my favorite. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was definitely. I think so. Presley started school in August, and we did okay until like the season started changing. Like I feel like that always is like when it gets you. And then Elliot started school in November for a couple days a week. She goes to the same school that my mom teaches at, and she's like in the toddler class right next door. And I swear, every like 2 weeks from around end of October to winter break, somebody was sick. And I'm just like, it feels constant. I will be so glad when that's not as much of a thing. Should have been written yesterday. Headache. Oh, yeah. No, I completely understand that. Like I mentioned before, mostly because I'm sick right now, my brain just was not wanting to work. Like I'm actually very happy that I was able to read some of my book now. So I completely understand the whole like the motivation just like leaves as soon as you have like a headache or something like that. So I'm glad you're getting it written today then. Ooh, okay, yeah, Iris Kelly the best. I'm very curious to see where I will end up rating Iris Kelly versus the other ones. Well, and see, like even Ashton Parker, like I said, it wasn't bad. I think I gave it like a 3.5. It just had certain things that I wasn't as happy with. But like the writing style that she has is still so, so good. And so I know people love the different ones in different ways. I just haven't read the third one yet. Morning, morning, reading Jade City. I've heard really good things about that one too. I'm not 100% into the like political fantasy stuff, so I don't know if it's one that I would enjoy, but I've heard really good things. Yeah, I mean, if you want those, I feel like they're really good. They're all sapphic romances. And so I feel like it just depends on like the different kind of tropes that you like. Because Delilah Green is definitely more of like not like friends to lovers exactly, but it's like she comes back to town and it's like her sister's best friend and they're trying to sabotage the wedding, which sounds horrible, but it's not. And I really loved the vibes in that one. And then you have Ashrid Parker, who is in her 30s, I believe it is, and figuring out that she's not heterosexual, and they have a very like work rivalry sort of thing. So it is a little bit more rivals to lovers, and I don't particularly like enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers. Like that's just one of the tropes that I don't like as much. And then Iris Kelly is about, I think, does she have a one night stand with the girl? And then like they were never going to see each other again, and then they end up working in the same like play area. I don't know if they're both actors or if like what it is, but so like I'm very very curious about that as well. Yes, okay. Yeah, I am curious. I do have it. I definitely want to read it. I just haven't done it yet. They are very good sapphic romances. I feel like I also really liked Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. Like I feel like those ones um they're not the same, but I feel like in the vibes of them for sapphic romances, they're both really really high for me. Okay. I'm horrible at synopses. Like, I will read something, and when like the synopsis, and when I know I want to read it, it will go on my TBR, like, or my want to read list on Goodreads or where, however I'm tracking it. And by the time I actually pick them up and read it, I don't think I could ever tell you like what anything is about. I've definitely done that with books where you're reading it, you're enjoying it, but then something happens and it gets put down. So like I won't even put them like as a DNF or anything. I'll just be like, yeah, I'll get to that eventually. Um, yeah, it happens to the best of us. Yeah, I really loved Written in the Stars. Like it was very good. I have the second one, Hang the Moon, on my TBR, which is um a male female romance, but I think both characters are bisexual, so it is still queer, but it's not sapphic. But I think the third book again is sapphic in that series. They're really good. I'll be curious to see what you guys think. Speaking of sapphic romances, let's get into the book that I'm currently reading because I was able to actually read some, which I'm very happy about because the last couple days my brain has just not wanted to read. But I'm reading Cosplay and Confrontation by Sarah Zane. This is the cover here. It is indie. I picked it up during the last Stuff Your Kindle. Um, and one thing I will say is they do mention in the book that this character is Gwen, this character is Lainey. Lainey is supposed to have light brown skin, and Gwen is supposed to be very fair. Their skin color looks exactly the same to me, so like I was a little bit confused with that. The cover is just not 100%. But so this is going to be a sapphic romance. They are currently not exactly fighting with each other. It seems like Gwen used to be in a relationship with like Lainey's best friend and they broke up. And it sounds like they broke up because Gwen realized that she's not straight because Lainey's best friend was Artie. And so, hey, we have Art and Gwen, and then Lainey is obviously Lancelot. Like this is obviously a King Arthur sort of retelling. My biggest issue right now is that Lainey keeps mentioning how Artie is supposed to be King Arthur and Gwen is supposed to be Guinevere, and she cheated on him, which is not true, with somebody who's supposed to be Lancelot. And I'm just like, can you not realize that your name is Lainey, that you're supposed to be Lancelot? Because like I completely got the references to that whole sort of like mirror imaging stuff about it before Lainey was like bashing me over the head with this is supposed to be a King Arthur thing. We'll see how much they're really going to keep bashing us over the head with that because right now it's getting a little bit annoying. But besides that, we have the plot line of they're going to be sort of both doing this like cosplay thing, which is why it's Cosplay and Confrontation, at a an event called Books, Gowns, and Crowns, which is supposed to be like the ball gowns and book event that they have like in Australia, the Babe event, which I think is interesting. So it is based on like books and authors, but then they have ball gowns and cosplay and all this kind of stuff. Um, and they're sort of fighting, and I'm about 20% of the way in. They have not met up again yet. So I'm very curious to see how that romance is eventually going to actually develop, because right now Lainey is very, very mad at Gwen for breaking up with Artie, but it also seems like Gwen told Artie everything about how she actually has a crush on Lainey. So we'll see how that goes. Um, so far, writing style's okay. There's a little bit of like, instead of keeping us on the like timeline that we're at, the characters will be like on this timeline, but they keep going back into the thoughts of like, oh, this happened before. This is how we used to meet. This is what she did. And so it keeps taking me that way, like into the past, even though it's not even really a flashback. There's just a lot of like paragraphs of trying to explain how their relationship and friendship actually like first worked. Um, so again, I'm just very curious because I 100% see it as like a King Arthur contemporary sort of retelling, but the fact that they're also trying to make sure that you understand it's a King Arthur thing, I feel like they need to pull back on that just a little bit. Otherwise, I am enjoying it. Yeah, Ashley Herring Blake. I've never read any of her middle grade stuff because I feel like she did a lot of middle grade stuff before she did the adult romances. Yeah, she does have other books. I've never read any of her other ones, so if you want to mention to anybody which ones that you really liked, always useful. Because again, every time I do reading sprints, I end up with more books to put on my TBR. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Okay. Yeah, middle grade is something that like I enjoy some middle grade stuff, usually fantasy. But again, it really depends on how it's written. And I know some people are just they feel like they're too old for middle grade, which is also very understandable. Okay, that's one that I've heard of. I haven't read though. Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World. Yeah, I think she started in middle grade. And then I don't know if she has any YA specifically ones, but then she eventually moved up to adult, and I think Delilah Green was her very first adult book. Hard Hitting Contemporaries. Okay. Girl Made of Stars, How to Make a Wish, Ivy Aberdeen. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of Suffer Love though, but those are good to look up. hmm Very nice. Okay, I think we're going to be moving into another sprint because the more I talk, the more I feel like I sound worse. And like I said a little earlier, we're gonna keep doing sprints until I have to go help get the boy from school. My husband's actually gonna do it because he's not sick. He's gonna go get him, but I'm gonna sit in the car because Presley, usually I have to be the one that picks him up. Um, but so I think, oh, the heart of mighty heart of sunny St. James too. Okay, good. I think we'll do another sprint. Let's do We're gonna be here for at least about an hour, so let's maybe do like a 30, take a little break, and then another 30 before we're like 100% finished. I just saw this one too. Yeah, my son is 100% a mommy's boy, and he also had some like anxiety and stuff happening at the very beginning of the school year. We're 100% over that. He loves school, loves his teacher, loves his friends. Like he's so excited to go play. But, like, he needs me to do a lot of that, like, big stuff, like going and making sure that he's picked up and stuff. So even though daddy's gonna do it, and he knows daddy's gonna do it, he needed to know that I'm gonna sit in the car and wait for him. So we'll see how that goes because daddy dropped him off today too. It's the first time we've, like, changed his schedule in a while, but I was like, "I'm not going into the school the way I am." So, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, like, I love that, like, I am his person. And, like, my daughter, I'm mostly her person too, but she's so much easier of, like, going off with other people. Like, she loves Nana, who is my mom who lives with us, and, like, she takes her to school with her and stuff. She loves Daddy. Like, whenever she sees him, she loves him. Like, she's a little easier to go off and, like, go join other people. My son, it is me or nothing most of the time, and so, yeah, it's lovely, but it is hard sometimes for sure. Okay. Yeah, let's do a half-hour one so we can come back, check in, and then we'll do, like, probably, like, one more after that before it's time to go get him from school because preschool only has half days. So we will read for about half hour. Okay, cool. Okay, so we are back. Let me know how you did if you want with whatever you're currently working on. I mean, it completely makes sense. I definitely feel like when I don't have, especially both kids at the same time, for at least a little while, it resets my mood completely. So, like, Tuesdays and Thursdays is when Elliot goes to school, and then Presley goes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So, like, those mornings when I don't have anybody, 100%, everything just like gets to reset, which is amazing. And then Presley is way easier by himself. I think it's because he's 4, he's a little bit more mature, he can do things by himself a little bit better, whereas Elliot is 1.5 and crazy girl, like, she is constantly on the move, so it's a little bit harder that way. Well, you're probably gone already, but thank you for joining. I understand completely also this getting and going and doing stuff, so read to 54%, got 11% done, over halfway. Okay. I mean, some books, I feel like it does seem to take longer or it feels like you need to slow down. Like, I know sometimes it's a bad thing that it takes forever, and then sometimes it's just because you're enjoying it. So, like, hopefully it's that one more than anything else. 29 and struggling. Oh, yeah, no, that makes it much harder when you are having to, like, work to read. I, yeah, I definitely I find sometimes audiobooks help me a little bit when that's happening, and then sometimes it just doesn't help at all. Like yesterday, because I was feeling so bad, I think I basically just watched movies on my iPad, and on my iPad instead of like on the TV because I didn't want some of the stuff to be where the kids could see it. Not that it was anything bad, it was just like stuff that I don't think they're necessarily ready for. Um, things that are like, PG-13 where you're like, I'm sure my 4-year-old's probably not paying attention, but like, what if he is paying attention? Like, I was watching, I think it was Totally Killer on Amazon Prime, which is like a really cheesy horror slasher thing where like they travel back in time to the 80s to try and like prevent some murders. Like, it was fun, but, like, I think I started watching it on the TV because of the fact, like, it didn't seem anything too crazy, and then when we eventually got to the part where there was going to be the murders, I looked over and he was watching it, and I was like, "Nope, we're gonna go put on Bluey or something now," because he tries to watch stuff, and I'm just like, "Yeah, you're not ready for that." Yeah, I get that sometimes too. It's just yeah, having time to yourself to just take a break and reset is so good. Even if it, like you said, even if it does include working. I don't do any working stuff besides like I do consider the YouTube stuff that I do work because I do have to like film and edit and stuff. And so even when the kids are at school and I feel like all I did that day was laundry and filming or editing or whatever, it still definitely feels like a good reset. Okay, good. I'm glad that's the problem is that you don't want it to end more than like it's just taking forever because of a bad thing. So that's good. Uh, she was reading some sort of Punk. Was that the thing that you were reading earlier? Very 3D, something that I had never heard of before. So I don't know, but I'm apparently we have some good highlights there. That gory slasher about an axe wielding murderer. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I have never heard of that one. I'll have to definitely look it up because, like, again, sometimes you guys have things that I've never heard of, even after watching a bunch of BookTube and like all this kind of thing. So very intrigued. I'm glad it's going good though. So I'm about 42% in now of cosplay and confrontation. We have finally gotten to the confrontation. They're in the same city for this cosplay convention, and we finally got the like, oh, they're in the same area. I will say this is supposed to be a sapphic romance, and I'm hoping we get there eventually, but right now, with the way that this, like, actual confrontation happened, Lainey was calling Gwen horrible names, like hoe and whore and homewrecker and, like, things, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh," like, she went there and it made me very uncomfortable. So, we'll see how that is supposed to continue because, like, as of right now, I know there's a little bit of a miscommunication because Lainey doesn't understand why Gwen broke up with Artie and everything, but I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." The way that that was handled in this book, like, I don't know if I would have been able to get over that and still have feelings for this person, and I'm sure we're supposed to get there eventually, but it was very, like, angry. So that was interesting. But I'm happy with, like, how quickly it's moving so far. I mean, this book's only, like, 200 and something pages. But I'm glad with, like, doing the sprints. I feel like we've definitely gotten through quite a bit of this one. And this is going to end up being our last sprint coming up, just because I will be having to leave in about 45 minutes. So we'll do, like, another 30 so that we can come back and, like, check in one more time before we're done. But I'll have to leave the house in about 45 to go pick up Presley from school. So I'll do, like, another 30-minute one, get a little bit more reading in. Timer go just like the very beginning of the next minute so we can get like a whole good 30 minutes in. We have like 10 seconds. But yeah. Oh, good. That's really nice. I'm glad that works out. Yeah, Presley technically gets lunch at school. Although he's not he's not like 100% super picky, but he is picky about certain stuff, but he's doing much better because school does serve them lunch every day. He tries some stuff, which I'm always happy about. So it'll be lunchtime for us too by the time we get back with him. So there we go. Let's do one more 30-minute one before we finish for the day. Okay, and we are back for the final time today because it is going to be time soon to go pack up my stuff and go get Presley from school. Let me know how you guys did if you want. I am actually at 64% of the way through my book, which is quite amazing. I have about 45 minutes left, so I'll probably finish it within the next day or two, just depending on when I have time to actually read. I don't feel like the romance, because this is something that I picked up during Stuff Your Kindle, which is, mostly for romance. This is supposed to be like a more contemporary romance sort of thing. Obviously, enemies to lovers, which is not my favorite, and it's very interesting how they're trying to pull it off here, but I have not been feeling the romance as much. So I will finish the book to see how it actually ends up, but I don't think it's going to get more than like a 3.5 maybe, just because of how they're really playing off some of these characters and like the dynamics, and I'm not getting the actual romance that I want. But the writing's not too bad. It's just not necessarily my thing 100%. 68% now. Great. That's really good. 53. Oh, 53 pages. Yeah, good. I'm glad that it's kicking in there. So that's always a good thing. Okay. The spindle splintered. Good, good. I'm glad we all got some reading done. I love sprints for that, especially when I don't have the kids with me right now, so it's like it's a good defined time to actually get stuff done. So I'm glad we were able to do that. I do want to appreciate everybody for showing up, but also for all the birthday wishes. Even though I was sick yesterday, we still got to have some, other people handle dinner for me. We had a little bit of cake and stuff. So overall, even though I wasn't feeling the best, it was still pretty good. Presley was all about my birthday. All day yesterday was like, it's mommy's birthday. She's 34. It's mommy's birthday. She's 34 to everybody. Everybody knew that, but like it just was the cutest thing. So overall, pretty good. Early morning there. Yeah, no, that's good too. Always good. Yeah, time zones are always interesting that way because I used to do sprints in the evening here, and like some people could do them and then other people couldn't. And now that I'm trying to do them a little bit more when the kids are at school, because then I have nobody else here, we now have like opposite time zones of people that can show up and everything. But that's great too. Okay, but yeah, I gotta start packing up my stuff to go. So I again just want to say thank you all for joining me. I'm very happy with how much I was able to get done today, especially since I'm feeling better than I was yesterday, but obviously still sick. I'm sure you guys can 100% tell just by my voice. So yeah, I will probably try to do another reading sprint next month with everybody. And I also, like I said before, want to try and get some other stuff in for patrons too. So yes, I want to everybody else who's still going to have the rest of your day as well. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. But yeah, I'm going to be signing off now so I can go pick up Presley from school. So again, thank you. Bye.